Hey everyone, it's Alexander, the real Mr. Robinson, and this is my review for Spider-Man Far From Home, the second solo Spider-Man movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the seventh live-action Spider-Man movie overall, the final film in Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and an epilogue to the entire Infinity Saga. So this movie takes place about 8 months after the events of Avengers Endgame, where Tony Stark has sacrificed his life to save the world. Spoilers for Endgame if you haven't seen it. And now Peter Parker is without a mentor. Without Tony Stark around, he is on his own. And it's around this time he's going on a summer vacation to Europe with his school, where he is suddenly recruited by Nick Fury and Maria Hill to help them take out a bunch of giant elemental monsters, along with somebody who's been battling these elementals, Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. And this puts Peter Parker in a dilemma because he just wants to have a summer vacation with his friends and try to express his feelings towards MJ, played again by Zendaya, but he also has a responsibility to try to save the world and prove to everyone that he can be a superhero in his own right without the help of Tony Stark. And by that, I mean the characters in the movie as well as the audience, because I am actually shocked at how many people don't like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I personally think he's fantastic. I loved Spider-Man Homecoming because it not only brought Spider-Man into the MCU, but Tom Holland was that perfect mix of both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. But a lot of people don't seem to like the fact that he needs Tony Stark as a mentor, and look, it's a different take on Spider-Man because with the past two series, the Sam Raimi series and the Mark Webb series, they both kind of follow the same formula, especially the Mark Webb series. So this is a nice way to kind of reinvent Spider-Man and make sense of certain elements, like why would this poor 16-year-old high schooler be able to make a suit this complex looking? Like, I can suspend my disbelief with Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, but you gotta think about it, it's like, that suit is way too advanced for a high school kid to be designing. So I think having Tony Stark as a mentor and helping Peter Parker hone his abilities as Spider-Man helps. And one of the best compliments I could give to this movie is that now that Tony Stark is dead, Peter Parker really has to step up his game and be Spider-Man independent. And I still think Tom Holland does an amazing job. And like with Homecoming, this movie has a lot of elements of a teenage high school movie that actually seem to work better than most teenage high school movies, well, with the exception of Booksmart earlier this year, and it just so happens to be blended in with a comic book movie. I don't think it worked as much as it did with Homecoming because that movie really focused on high school more than this one does, but this still does a really good job. Now, one of the big elements of this movie that everybody was looking forward to was Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, because we all love Jake Gyllenhaal. He's a terrific actor, but Mysterio is also a character that we've wanted to see in a Spider-Man movie for a long time. And I gotta be honest, I didn't know that much about Mysterio from the comics or any other materials that involve Spider-Man, so I had to do research after I saw the movie on the background of this character, and I gotta say, they changed Mysterio quite a bit, but not enough to where it's a completely different character altogether. And Jake Gyllenhaal does a really good job. He has a great chemistry with Tom Holland. Peter Parker / Spider-Man and Mysterio work great together. And it's also nice to see Quentin Beck be sort of a pseudo-mentor for Peter Parker. At a point when Peter is on his own and he's still upset about Tony Stark's death, he's there to kind of help him out and give him a lot more inspiration, since he recognizes Peter Parker as a good kid wanting to do the right thing. Which is good because Nick Fury does not have that same attitude towards Peter Parker at all. Samuel L. Jackson returns as Nick Fury, making it the first time one actor has appeared in every MCU movie in 1 year. So it's great to see Samuel L. Jackson back in this role. He still owns it, and he has my favorite Nick Fury line ever, which is the line from the trailer, "Bitch, please, you've been to space." So this movie's overall very, very good. Although the thing that makes me not like this as much as Homecoming is the first act of the movie. It's never bad, I'll say that right now. It's a good first act, but it just wasn't super engaging. With Homecoming, I was engaged with that movie from beginning to end. And I keep saying first act, it's more like the first half of the movie. It's good, and I do like how they address the Thanos snap and how it's affected a lot of people who were snapped away versus those who weren't. But at the same time, it's just not super engaging. But then when we get into the second half of the movie and we really get to know what's going on, that's when the movie kicks into gear. That's when I am totally invested in it. and that's where some of the best moments of the film comes in, and it's just all kinds of awesome. There's a lot of people out there that are saying that this is the movie that's better than Spider-Man 2 in terms of a live-action Spider-Man movie. For me, I personally like Homecoming a lot more, but this movie is without a doubt worth seeing in your lifetime. The action's exciting, it's got some great dramatic moments, the comedy is very good at points, but then just kind of in other points. It's really awesome to see Peter Parker truly come into his own as Spider-Man, and when you look at it, this kind of works as another Spider-Man origin story, where he's trying to break free from the shadow of Iron Man. And it works very well. So it's really good. Like I said before, I like Homecoming a lot more than this, but this movie has two stingers that you absolutely have to stay for, especially that first one, because that first stinger made the entire audience go, "What?" And when that stinger was over, I, for a second, became a self-entitled fan, where I'm just like, "No, Marvel, no, you do not leave us hanging like that. You delay whatever movies you got coming next. Give us the next Spider-Man movie so we can have a follow-up to this stinger." Because with what they do, you're just anxious to see what happens next. And what's even worse is that we don't know what's coming next. I mean, I know there's talks of the Eternals, Black Widow is filming, but unlike with Phase 3, we don't know what's happening. In that entire 4-year period between Avengers Age of Ultron and now, we knew what was coming, it's just a matter of how we got there. With this movie, we don't officially know what's coming next. Since the Infinity Saga is done, we're just left in the dark on what's going to happen next, especially with that stinger, because I know myself and a ton of other people are just dying to see a follow-up to that. And there you go, that's my review for Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm not quite sure if I'll be doing a spoiler review because I've got a lot going on right now. I will try to make that a priority, and at the very least, I'll make a video talking about the stingers. Because unlike Avengers Endgame and Captain Marvel, I don't feel like there's a whole lot in this movie that's worth spoiling besides the two stingers. But now I want to know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Between this and Homecoming, which movie do you prefer? And out of all the Spider-Man movies, which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, I hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and of course leave a comment. Don't forget to support my Patreon page, follow me on social media, and until next time, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you, there's only one.